The Arizona Coyotes are at the Christmas break now, and we're going to decide what's going on with them. How do we think they have been this season? What are they like right now? Plus, where could they play next year? Obviously, we know they're not in Glendale. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Robyn, Leaño, Pavlock right beside me on this wonderful. I think this episode should be dropping on Christmas Eve. This is a pre-recorded episode, everyone. A lot of the episodes this week are pre-recorded. We are. We're. Let's be frank, Carl. We're getting ready for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
We want to. We want a little bit off, but we wanted to make sure we get as much content to you as possible. So we are talking. Today we talk about the Arizona Coyotes. Now, at the Christmas break, at this time they will have played two more games: one against the Seattle Kraken, one against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We obviously don't know. we don't. We don't know. We don't know what those games are going to. We don't know the ends of those games yet because, well, we can't see into the future. Also, there was going to be a third game earlier, like on Sunday, yes, on Sunday. But that game got postponed because of COVID. So, fun.
So we're not even sure if those two games happened. This could,
we could be
depending
wrong.
on how things go,
We
yeah,
could be wrong.
this
We
could
could
be
actually,
very strange. Because
um,
the NHL's in a fun period. Listen to Monday's episode about that.
and you know what? That's going to make things so difficult. And they have to. This all of this has to happen during the Christmas break, right? Like,
Yeah.
can I like? And I asked this to you, Carl, and I asked this to the NHL, and I asked this to anybody out there. Can I just have a peaceful vacation without the NHL doing crap?
No, you cannot. You are not allowed that because nobody is allowed that. The NHL is always going to be doing crap. It's honestly like I do think the pain is part of being a hockey fan. Like, because the players on the ice have to feel a lot of pain. It only seems right that the fans and the media also have to feel that pain.
It sucks. It
It
really
does.
does.
It does.
I mean, I saw the memorandum that they posted, based off of. So those who are listening, the memorandum that the NHL posted on the 18th. So now, this is the day we're actually recording this episode. So, like almost a week ago. But it doesn't really address anything.
It
So
doesn't.
they're just going back to testing, which okay, that's cool. But how do you take care of everyone that's the 80 plus players that have it? Like,
I actually think I saw that it was a very large percentage of players who have gotten COVID or been on COVID protocol at some point during the season, and the number was pretty high. I want to say like 40%, but that seems a little too high. So don't quote me on that. Either way, yeah, it's not good. I feel like the NHL is in a weird spot right now. And I do think surprisingly the Coyotes have been okay.
they've only had, again, at the time of this recording, only three players
Three
enter
players
at this
actively.
actively. They've had total, what, four or five that were.
I
Uh,
think so. Because it was what? Lad and. Well, it was Lad and Larson. And then I think Hutton was also on it, but he was also on injured reserve.
so like, yeah.
But also, I think I brought this up on Monday. We don't know about staff or coaching because I think Phil Housley was reported as being on it and just general unnamed staff. So again, we don't have a lot of information about this.
No, we don't. And especially because time could have passed by the time you're listening to this episode, and we could be talking, and there could be a different state of the league. And obviously, if you're following us on Twitter at LO_Coyotes, you can easily find out about baseball updates. Like, even though I'm on vacation, I'm always posting stuff on. I am endlessly on social media every
Yeah,
freaking day of my life, no matter what.
nobody takes a vacation from Twitter unless they're doing one of those Black Mirror vacations where they go into the desert and meditate for a couple hours until they get a random phone call saying there's a high tech hostage situation. Uh, but yeah, you're on vacation. You're not on that amount of vacation.
No, exactly. But let's get to very briefly before we go to our first break. Um, the state of the Coyotes at the Christmas break. We just watched a win last night from again the day of this recording to the Anaheim Ducks, which we didn't expect. So you know what I you know they're doing things that are surprising, but again, this team is not good still.
Yeah, I agree. This team is not good, but they're doing a lot of really interesting things like late in the third. Like I want to break this down like in my mind. I want to separate it into like periods like the early season, the mid-season, the late season. And the Coyotes just in the late early season are having like really interesting surprises. A 6-5 victory over the Ducks. Like what, a week removed from a 1-0 shutout of the Jets. Like that is two very different teams, yet somehow it's the same team. It's very fun and exciting.
I'm trying to really understand this Coyotes team because um, they get the games they win. I feel like there's a lot of luck involved, and yes, and that kind of just tells you the confidence that we have in this Arizona Coyotes team. We don't have a lot of confidence in this Arizona Coyotes team. That's the problem.
Yeah,
um, it's just a lot of tough stuff.
it definitely is. It's a weird situation. And honestly, like it's kind of like watching a car crash. It's bad, but it's interesting and it's engaging and it catches my eye. And there are a lot of small nuances to the Coyotes that keep me engaged.
One thing I'll mention too, based off of my analysis from last Friday's game, based off of what those by the time you guys everyone listening, and I keep repeating that just because I don't know why. Everyone should know that by now. But they made the same mistakes I mentioned in the pregame show not to do, yet they still won.
Absolutely. Yeah, that has definitely been a thing. That's been an issue where we keep thinking they need to play a perfect game, but they will go and play a game where they make all the same mistakes and yet still win.
And against the Ducks too, the best team in the Pacific, the quote best team in the Pacific Division. Like what?
And honestly, let's be real. 6 goals against John Gibson is
Yeah.
insane.
What? Like that's just crazy. That is
Yeah.
just crazy.
The team keeps surprising us, and I think that's kind of fun.
It is. And speaking of surprises, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Coyotes team. We still got more to get to on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. But first, let's go through a quick word of our sponsors. Start with letting you know today's episode brought to you by Built Bar. This holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, even better than a candy bar. Built Bar is filled with so much holiday goodness with rich, decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazing low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds, delicious and healthy. It's got so many flavors you have a hard time choosing. Will you choose raspberry or mint brownie, cherry double chocolate, cookies and cream, or peanut butter brownie? Built Bar gives you the extra fuel to bust down those mall dollars and battle all those holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you the extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or your purse so you never know when you're going to need it. Plus, let's also say this, based off, today, I know a lot of you guys are going to be celebrating Christmas Eve. So because it's that holiday season, why not, you know, bring some extra Built Bars, share some with your family because, this is the holiday of giving. We all know what that's all about. But here's a couple other things too. I want you to go ahead and try it yourself. Go to built.com, use the promo code locked15 to get 15% off your order. Once again, that's promo code locked15 for 15% off at built.com.
So I just want to say this: no one plays daily fantasy sports to lose. Winning feels so much better. But traditional fantasy sports are long term losing propositions because you never know who or what you're up against. Stat Hero is the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in a head to head fantasy matchup. Winner takes all. And here's the crazy part: Stat Hero shows you their lineups before you play, and you handpick the team you want to face one on one. This has never happened before. Innovation of the fantasy sports and sports betting hybrid has Stat Hero players clocking odds that are over 4 times better. Why? Because you don't need to compete against thousands of experts or unknowns. Stat Hero puts you in control of your fate. You can sign up free right now at stathero.com slash hockey using the promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. That's stathero.com slash hockey. Use promo code hockey for a 100% match. Stathero.com slash hockey, promo code hockey. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, so let's keep going here. Talking about the state of the Coyotes at the Christmas break. Um, and let's put it this way, Carl. In terms of a uh, wrap it up all in a bow into a Christmas present. Because that's what today's all about, Christmas Eve. And let's say this team still very much on that road to number one overall.
Yeah. It's interesting. They're still bad. They're really bad. There are other teams that are also very bad. So that race to the bottom seems very fun.
The Ottawa Senators taking a big deep dive down. The Montreal Canadiens taking their deep dive down.
Which nobody expected the Montreal Canadiens, although I feel like we should have because they have acquired a lot of Coyotes players in the past couple seasons.
Speaking of which, you saw, you got Dvorak out for quite a long time over there. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Dvorak, I just want to be real with everyone. He was the player I didn't want to be traded because such a good contract. I felt it was perfect for a rebuild. Like, give the team some center depth. But they went and traded him. I think it's going to result in a much smaller return because that pick is very weird. The conditions are it's the higher of the Habs Montreal pick, unless one of them is in the top 10, in which case it's the lesser. Montreal is probably going to be in the top 10. Carolina is probably going to go deep because they're good. So it's probably going to be like a mid to late 20s pick at this point.
see, I just want Montreal to kind of bounce back a little bit, get that number 11 spot
Yeah.
on that pick. That way, the Coyotes can get potentially a top 3 pick and number 11. And let's not forget, if I take a look at Cap Friendly right now, they still got a lot of other picks. They still got the Colorado Avalanche pick, who are also not the best team in the NHL as we
Sure.
thought they would be. Plus, also 5 picks in the second round. So we talked about rebuilding in this Coyotes team at the Christmas break. Definitely looks like a rebuilding team.
Yeah. And I just think like it's weird. Drafting in general, I feel is a lottery, and the Coyotes made that pick a little bit extra lottery with the conditions they're applying, and it just kind of goes to show like you can't really predict everything. The NHL is a big league, and a team like Montreal, who everyone thought was going to be uh, slightly better than average, I think, like top of the mid tier, I think was kind of like the general perspective. But now, like a basement team, like no one really saw that happening. So it's fun. It's I love hockey because it just goes off the rails sometimes.
Exactly. But again, with the rebuilding team that the Coyotes are, they're going to be there. That fight for number one overall in the draft is going to be fun, as you mentioned. Um, and to make things even more fun, as in just a couple of days, the World Juniors is going to begin, and on Team Canada, not only of course do you have Dylan Gunther, but you also have you know potential future Coyote Shane Wright. If you go play together, wouldn't that tell you something? Wouldn't that tell you something?
It's definitely must-watch TV for Coyotes fans.
It will absolutely be much watch TV. But you know what? We are running pretty short in time. We got to do one more ad break, and we have one more news thing to get to you. So be sure to stick around. But first, I want to let you guys know today's episode brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season, more props, odds, lines than ever before. As football season continues the march to the playoffs, BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website. Sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Carl. So, couple of minutes to talk about one last topic. Very short topic. And it was just because this now because we're everyone's listening to this on the 24th, but last week we saw an article from the Republic that said, hey, maybe the Coyotes might play at Chase Field, and we talked about this a couple times, but
Yes.
now there's apparently it's a actual consideration. You have some
Uh,
thoughts.
yes. So I thought it was a very interesting article. I really liked it. I really like Jose Romero's stuff in general. I do think when we are discussing the Coyotes playing at Chase Field, it is important to note that this has happened before. We have seen an NHL team spend a season in a baseball stadium. Uh, and I just think that needs to be included on every article. I do not believe I saw it in the Jose Romero article, but it is important context because every single time I've seen someone post something about that, someone has been like, "Oh, what are they going to skate on the grass?" And it's like, "No, we know how this happens. We have seen it both in like premier event games and we've seen it just as a general thing."
Winter Classic, Stadium Series, heck, the Tampa Bay Lightning played in a baseball field for a couple of years in the 90s, right?
Yes. I was trying to look how long they played there, but the Lightning, Tampa Bay Lightning, looks like they were 93 to 96. So 3 seasons in a baseball field. This has happened. This has happened in a situation that's close to what Arizona would be. Probably Arizona would be better because it's a little bit more heat, but everything I've heard about like people who do ice, humidity is way worse than heat. And Florida is way more humid than Arizona. As everyone says, it's a dry heat.
Exactly. And I personally I like the idea, right?
Yeah.
I really like the idea because it's been proven to work. Um, and let's be real, based off the trajectory of both the teams that would be using the facility, there's not going to be any overlap. Um, so
I will say this: novelty kind of sells, like
right,
especially in the NHL. Like if you go to the ECH level, you see like all the jersey nights. Like novelty is a big factor. Like PT Barnum is still like held up as a major figure for a reason. Like the Coyotes playing in a baseball stadium, I like that traction. Plus, Chase Field has much better food options than Gila River Arena because they have a Lolo's chicken and waffles. It's amazing. The churro dog is okay.
if I can get a churro dog at a Coyotes game, I would love it.
Having had the churro dog, it's all you. Also, I try and avoid sugar because I'm old.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But again, I think both of us think that it would be a pretty fun idea. And maybe one day they can open the top and make
Yeah,
an outdoor game just for
y-
you know just
yeah.
for fun.
It's a fun idea. It could definitely work, but it's also just I don't want to put Jose on blast because I think he does great work. But yeah, just include that it's happened before because idiots don't think it can happen, and
Exactly.
you need to prove the
Exactly.
idiots wrong.
Anyways, though, that is out of time. If you want any more thoughts, be sure. I mean, you can just check us on social media. We'll talk, but we'll have more to talk to about that. But that's it for today's episode. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you get to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, at Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leaño. It's Robyn with a Y_LEANO. Carl Pavlock is at Carl Pavlock FFH. Tweet at us, ask us a question we might have. We'll answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to this episode. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. Merry Christmas, and don't forget to howl on.